So here we are at the helm of the CS3 Surf. Now this boat does have the optional Garmin screen up top here. If you don't have that, it gets replaced with another gauge, and that's your multifunction gauge, which shows your fuel level, your engine temperature, your oil pressure, and also has a gauge for your outdrive or trim angle. In this boat, we have the speedometer here on the port side, my RPM on the starboard side of that Garmin screen. Within the RPM gauge, you have these two digital readouts, and the black buttons on the bottom will allow you to cycle between different information. Say you want to see depth or your trim angle, boat speed, oil pressure, things of that nature. You can scroll through those items there. Your speed control, your zero off speed controls right here on the very right hand side. Very easy to use. Use the up and down arrows to select what speed you want to go, up and down, and then just press on quickly, just press it and release. And then a little black bar appears in the set button right there, and that means now your boat speed is set. You would use the throttle up to that set speed, and then the boat will take over and hold that speed for you. When your rider falls, you don't need to turn that off, you just throttle back, go pick them up. It's still active, so you can circle around, pick up your rider, throttle back up, and then it'll go right back to that boat speed. On the bottom side of the helm, to the port and starboard side of the steering wheel is mounted to a tilt base, so I can tilt the wheel up and down, which is really nice. I've got my stereo control on the port side, ignition and horn, and on the right side I've got switches for things like my navigation lights, bilge blower, bilge pump, things like that. I've got my selection for some surf modes right here, so I can surf left or surf right. With performance mode, it's a unique mode that will use the surf tabs to help get the boat up on plane. Say if you need to run back to the dock or something like that quickly, but you want to keep the ballast full because you're going to go right back to surfing, just help gets the boat up on plane quicker rather than just not having any sort of utilization of the surf tabs that are on the back of the boat. This control right here, up and down for trim tab, these are actually for the surf tabs on the back of the boat. Not too much that you're going to actually be doing with these when you're underway or anything like that. They do have an automatic setting that if the boat is going more than 15 miles an hour, you're not going to be able to use these at all. But if you are surfing and you want to play with them a little bit, you can, but you're not going to notice a whole lot of difference. The boat is pre-programmed, so when I press surf left or surf right, the surf tabs are going to go into a predetermined position to allow you to have the best wave possible. Below that, I've got my ballast control to be able to fill and empty each of the zones in the boat. So the bow zone or the port and starboard side will fill the bags in that appropriate area. And then once the bags are full, you're going to go ahead and just shut those off so they are in the middle position like they are right now. If you press up to fill, it'll activate them to fill. Press down where it says empty to empty those bags. So here's your Volvo EVC throttle. This is a digital shift by wire throttle. I've got my trim control, so I can raise and lower the outdrive manually right here. This N button right here, this is the neutral only. So if the boat's in the shop, the technicians are working on it, they're gonna press this to raise the engine RPM with the throttle without the propeller spinning. Always like to point this out just in case somebody's bumped this button, you're out on the lake and all of a sudden you go to shift and it's just revving the engine, you're not going anywhere. More than likely the neutral button's accidentally gotten pressed. So if you hear a double beep, that means it's disengaged, and a single beep means that it is engaged. I also have some buttons on the back side of the throttle. This trim assist button here at the bottom, that's going to automatically trim the engine up and down depending upon your boat speed. It's important to have this off when you are surfing. At certain speeds, it could interfere with the predetermined surf position for the outdrive when you select surf left or surf right. So when you are surfing, make sure you have that turned off. Cruise, button up from that, it's totally separate from the zero off speed control for surfing. But what this allows you to do is use this plus and minus here on the throttle to raise and lower the engine RPM. Say you're going through a no wake zone or something like that. You have the throttle set at a certain speed. You want to maybe go fast, a little bit faster or a little bit slower. I can activate cruise and use a plus and minus to do that. Last but not least, the last button on here is this tow mode. When that is active, it is going to kind of override the cruise control and allow you to control the boat speed via RPM. It's a little bit more intuitive to use the speed control up at the helm because you can actually dial in miles an hour rather than engine RPM. So know that you could kind of get a little confused if you are using this tow button. I generally recommend to just use the zero off, just it's a little bit easier to control, like 10.5 to 11.5 miles an hour versus, oh, I want to go 2,800 RPM or 3,200 RPM. Just a different way to set the boat speed if you are doing some sort of water sports. And last but not least is your safety lanyard. This does clip in just right here. If you're in the boat by yourself, make sure you have this on. If you're hearing a momentary beep every minute or so, more than likely you're actually gonna be, this might pop out and the engine might shut off. So it's just warning you that it's noticing that this is loose. If that is the case, if you're hearing that beep, you just need to push this back in. If you are underway, you have this on your person, you fall over in the seat or something like that, and this comes out of the throttle, it will shut down the engine.